Greetings, y'all, and welcome. This is Coach Veronica Marie, and I am here to talk about self-care. If you're new here, please do subscribe to this channel. I try to come here several times a week and just drop some short teachings to keep you uplifted, to keep you elevating, right? And so I do this because I understand that oftentimes you may not have people around you with these kind of ideas. And if you are not mindful, you will start regressing into your old patterns because your environment is not different. Sometimes it's not different because you can't change it. Sometimes it's not different because you don't need to change it, whatever it is. But I think it's important to have a consistent dose of higher thinking in order to stay grounded and rooted in your evolution. So that's why I do this. You can find me if you're new on my website at veronicamarie.com. If you need one-on-one coaching, if any of these topics make you go, hey, I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into myself on that, then check me out on my website. Um, Also, these videos I feel are very informative and very practical. So if you agree, please do share them with a friend and encourage them to subscribe as well. So self-care, a lot of times when people talk about self-care, they talk about, make sure you get time to yourself, spa day, pedicures, manicures, massages, buy yourself something, eat good food, exercise and things like that. But I want to talk about it from a mental self-care standpoint and emotional self-care standpoint, because even though a lot of people may take care of their physical bodies, or they may take care of their spiritual bodies, or they might do both, but I see this area can be greatly improved in the collective of knowing how to take care of your emotional and mental self. I'm not on YouTube, so I won't be able to see the live comments. However, you can post your comments on the recording and I'll be sure to respond to them. You are taking care of yourself well when you understand not only that your emotions are valid, but also when you don't try to make other people responsible for how you feel. Okay, you're taking care of yourself well when you realize that your emotions are delivering valuable information to you, and you go about the process of extracting the soul speak from the emotion so that you can enhance your living. You are taking care of yourself well when you are being authentic, and authentic doesn't amount to say anything and say everything, but authentic means that you are able to express as you exist in the moment. You're not masking, you're not covering. Now, you might be wise in your word choice, and that's because we want better than expected outcomes. So being wise in your word choice is not inauthentic. We're being inauthentic when you're saying yes, but you really mean no. When you're saying okay, when you really mean no. When you're saying no, but you really mean yes. When you're holding back what you really feel, going along to get along, keeping the peace, and all of these things. This is not taking care of yourself well. Not clearly expressing yourself is not taking care of yourself well, and not taking the time, the verbiage to find out what you really feel is not taking care of yourself well. This is All of these things that I'm mentioning are essential if you are to live in this world in a way that feels meaningful, in a way that feels beneficial to you. Otherwise, you're almost like a rug, a stepping stone. Like you lay down for other people, but then you end up bitter and resentful because they are not acknowledging you in the ways that you desire. So, taking time to understand what your emotions are, what you feel, developing verbiage around it. That means you need to read some books. If you feel you don't have emotional verbiage, read some books and get some. That's self-care. Watch some videos. That's self-care. Plug into my channel. That's self-care. Right? Anytime a person asks you a question, think deeply into it before you respond, before you move into a trigger and start interacting from your primal parts. Bring some logic into it. If you exist in spaces within yourself where you feel shame or discomfort around certain topics, get some help, right? What kind of help? Coaching and therapy is perfect, right? It's necessary to reduce shame because shame is a big reason why some people really are not authentic to themselves. If a sense of shame comes up and you don't want to be seen a certain way, or you don't want a person to think a certain way about you, you begin to navigate yourself in inauthentic ways. Taking care of your emotional self means just like you take your car to get an oil change, you sit down with someone, right? And have a one-on-one and flush some things out for yourself. That again, that could be a spiritual advisor, a healer, a coach, a therapist. But practicing self-care, I mean, you take better care of your car oftentimes than you do yourself. You need to sit down and have someone listen to you and tell you what they hear, someone that you trust. Because a lot of times your blind spots are areas that you are unconscious of about yourself. You don't realize that you say certain things. You don't realize that certain things mean certain things. You need someone to hear you, right? You want to be heard. Everyone wants to be heard. So that means you need to develop spaces where you can be heard, not walk around feeling powerless. Some people walk around feeling like nobody gets me, you have to create that, right? And that might begin with setting up a session with someone and saying, I deserve to be heard. And that's why I set up this session. Taking time in your day to reflect is part of self-care. Whether you journal or not, whether you talk aloud to yourself or not, that's self-care. Making sure you keep people around you who can hold space for you. And when I say hold space, I mean listen and help you come to understanding. That's self-care. You're not taking care of yourself well when you are talking to people and you get away from that conversation feeling drained. You're not taking care of yourself well when you are already not in a space to listen to someone else's scenario, yet you still do it. You're not practicing good self care when you have desires that you allow to go unmet within your life and you move in powerless energies because other people are not providing that for you. You are not practicing good self care when you have needs, right? And there are needs that we have as humans, and you are not seeking to get those met. You're not taking care of yourself well when you're blaming others for your situation and how you feel. Okay. So self care extends beyond, spa day and things of that nature. It's really important. And you should do those things if you can. A lot of people cannot. But what do you have? You do have 5 minutes in your day, right? You're taking care of yourself well when you tend to your creative energy, asking yourself every day, what wants to come through me today? What wants to be shared or said? What wants to be created? What kind of fun would I like to have today? What kind of people would I like to enjoy? What kind of conversations would I like to have? What kind of temperatures would I like to feel? All of this is good self care. Waking up in the morning and asking these questions, even if the answers don't come right away, they're worth asking. Asking yourself, what stands out to me about this day? What did I wish I had done differently? What would I like to address within myself? This is self care. When you experience situations where you feel negative emotions, suppressing them is not good self care. Spiritual bypassing is not good self care. Love and lighting and toxic positivity is not good self care. All of your emotions are valid, all of them are important. But what we're not going to do is make other people responsible. Again, I'm circling back around to that because a lot of people, when they're getting used to navigating the emotional realm, they want to tell people how they feel, right? And then inevitably, people are not able to handle it, and it just becomes a negative feedback loop. Your emotions are most important to you. Therefore, you need to know what they're saying to you about you first, about your belief systems, about your inner landscape. All right. It's common when others are talking to you and you feel a conflict arise, you begin to bite back, snap, sarcasm, pettiness, express strong emotions without first understanding what's really going on inside of you. right? So good self-care is about not only knowing what you feel, not only verbalizing what you feel, understand the message in what you feel. That's important. If you feel frustrated, the message is not the person is frustrating you because they're doing something. That's not the message. The message is, I feel frustrated because of some way that I am thinking. What needs to shift so that I come into greater peace? Right? If you're feeling angry, the first thing to do is not tell somebody, well, I'm angry because you did X, Y, and Z. No, I feel angry right now, and I would like to take care of myself by listening before I speak. But as soon as I understand really what's going on inside of me, then I'll make sure to talk about it. That's good self-care. Going through people's phone is not good self-care. Going through people's private information is not good self-care. Even if you feel entitled to it, that's not taking care of yourself well. Because think about it. You go through it, you see something you don't like, and then you struggle about how to present it because you don't want to be seen as sneaky or in violation. A lot of people never tell the things that they've seen. That's not good self-care, giving yourself toxic information, toxic emotions, and planting it within your soul and sealing a vow of silence within you. I suggest you stop doing it. If you don't trust a person and you feel like they're doing something and you cannot come to a resolve with conversation, that's some information right there. That's telling you that this relationship is not strong enough to handle whatever you're putting into it, right? So, what needs to shift? We're talking about self care. It's not good self care to be quiet. A lot of people hold things and they go, I was just quiet. I just let her talk. But meanwhile, they're stuffing all the negativity inside. You need some help. Talk to a friend. I'm not saying talk directly to the person. That might not be the thing, but you need to talk to someone. Anytime you ignore something or bypass something or try to overlook something without looking into the deeper implications of your soul, that's not good self-care. It doesn't matter how small a thing is, how big a thing is, it is worth thinking about, understanding, and integrating within your being. And that's it. I hope something in this talk inspired you to take better care of yourself in order to live a healthier and a happier life. If you do any of these things and you know you need some assistance with it, then you can contact me at veronicamarie.com and set up a coaching session. And I hope that your day is prosperous and beautiful, the rest of it.